Hello and welcome to DailyBytes with your host Mr Bytes, and today I'm playing Blessed Online on the rework server. Today I'll be showing you guys the assassin skills and passives. Okay, so again you have 3 core skills, so I'll start with the first one. The first one is called Outlaw and it instantly applies 3 stacks of hatred for 8 seconds. Haste is increased by 15%. Constant effect: when attacking there's 10% chance to generate hatred. When using a skill that consumes all marks of death, hatred will be converted to marks and be applied to the target. While constantly attacking a target, landing a critical will deal up to 230% bonus damage. This effect resets after a successful crit. And receive 5% less physical damage. The next one's called Thief. Summons a poisonous fog around the assassin for 10 seconds that deals damage per tick. Constant effects: poisons can stack up to 3 times, and that's it. And the last one is Assassin. Selects an enemy to be a blood offering. Affected target will receive 5% additional damage for 6 seconds. If the enemy is stunned by back blow or ambush, blood offering lasts 3 seconds longer. Enemies immediately receive 2 additional marks of death. Using this will not reveal the assassin, so you can use it in stealth. Constant effects: attacking an enemy from behind increases damage dealt. After using a skill that consumes all marks of death, enemies receive 1 mark of death. Range and magic attack will deal 5% less damage. Okay, so the only one with like an animation is this one, so I'll quickly show that. There you go. Okay, so the first row of skills is /1, which is your attack. Quickly attacks an enemy twice and deals damage. Next one is Double Cut. Attacks enemy twice, inflicts damage, and also applies 1 mark of death. Crit chance of the skill is increased by 5%. Next one is Pierce. Inflicts damage to an enemy. All marks of death will be consumed, and damage is increased by the numbers of marks. Next one is called Quick Attack. Dashes forward 5 meters and attacks. Inflicts damage to an enemy in the path and can dash up to 4 times. Next is Stealth. Become invisible to an enemy while invisible movement speed is decreased by 40% and energy doesn't recover. This skill cannot be used while in combat. There is a chance of being detected by an enemy, and this chance is increased as you approach the enemy from the front. So basically you can't sneak up on someone in front of them. Next one is Tear Wound. Inflicts damage to an enemy and apply a mark of death. If the enemy was poisoned, wounded, or bled by the assassin, duration of those effects are increased by 4 seconds. Next one is Swift Step. For 6 seconds, movement speed increased significantly, and also attack will be, well, your next attack would be 5% extra damage. Next one is Silence. Inflicts damage to an enemy and interrupts a skill. Also, let enemy silence for 3 seconds. And the cooldown is 6 seconds. Next one is Death Blow. Deals damage to an enemy. If hatred is applied to self, or hatred will be consumed and damage is increased. Damage is increased respective to about hatred. This skill is always a critical. Okay, I'm going to use these skills quickly. So I'm going to do them all attack first. There you go. Next one is Double Cut. Hits twice. Next one is Pierce, which uses all the stacks. There you go. Next one is Quick Attack. So you can use this 4 times. And it literally has no targeting. Stealth is this. Okay, Mrs. Bytes, can you see me? Can you see me now? No. No? 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 Okay. This is as close as you can get to someone. Can you see me from behind in this distance? Okay, so you can't really get closer than this without being spotted. Okay, next one is Tear Wound. There you go. Swift Steps, which is the movement speed buff. Silence. And Death Blow, which is always a critical. There you go. Need to wait a second because of combat to show you the skills. Okay, let's go with these. Do. Okay, first one is auto attack, and does damage quickly, hits twice, and the last hit plus a poison. As it's at the bottom, poisonous hit. Next one is Rupture, inflicts damage to an enemy, also applies Rupture and Mark of Death. Next one is Fatal Stab, inflicts damage to an enemy and applies internal bleeding. It will consume all marks of death. Internal bleeding damage is increased based upon the number of marks consumed. Next one is Strangle. Immediately move behind the enemy and attacks them. Deals damage to an enemy and applies Mark of Death. Using the skill, while invisible, will silence the enemy and apply an additional mark. So you use 2 marks if you're stealth. Next is Throw Dagger, where you throw a dagger and also reduces the enemy's movement speed by 10%. Has 75% chance to apply Mark of Death. Next is Trance. Makes an enemy fall asleep. Using the skill, while invisible, would not reveal the assassin. Cannot be used while in combat. So it's kind of an opening skill if there's 2 targets. Next one is Acrobatics. For 6 seconds, evasion is increased by 50%. Assassin becomes immune to CC and knockdown. Additionally, reduces incoming magic damage by 50%. Next is Ambush. Stun an enemy for 4 seconds and applies 2 marks of death. Using this skill, while invisible, reduces mana consumption by 40. Can only be used from behind an enemy. And the last one is Shadow Dance. Inflicts damage to enemies that touches the shadows. And applies poison coated on dagger. While using Shadow Dance, Assassin becomes immune to knockdown and CC. Okay, so auto attack looks like this. Okay, next one is Rupture. Let's see what Rupture does. Rupture is a bleed. Fatal Stab. It's another bleed. Next is Strangle. Tap what you behind and hit them. Next is Throw Dagger. Let's see how long the range is. This 20. That's weird. So I'm at 20. It works. If I'm at 21, it makes me run to 16. Okay, I'm in combat, so I can't use 6 yet. No. Okay, I need to use that one in a minute. Acrobatics. My game froze. Oh, there you go. It's like little swirls around you. Okay, let's try to use Trance. There you go. Post person to sleep for about 7 seconds, I would say, or 6. Next is Ambush. So literally stuns a person, but you can only use it from behind the enemy. So to use it in PvP, best way to do it is just run through the person. So if you're in front like this, you attack them, you can't use it. As soon as you run through them, you can use it. Okay, next one is Shadow Dance. It's pretty cool looking. I use it on Mrs Bytes in seconds. First CPU. And she blocked it. Okay. Take that, and that, and that. Hey. Can you hit me quickly? Or attacks? Okay. Evade. Yeah. Evade. Increases your evasion, so I just wanted to see how much it did. Okay. So Shadow Dance is ready now. So it hits multiple times. It's pretty cool. Okay, next line. I'm in combat. Okay, now I'm not. I believe with some skills you can only use while in stealth. I'm not sure which one it is though. Okay. First one is auto attack. Hits again 3 times. Hits, says attacks the enemy twice and then deals damage, but hits 3 times. Next one is sneak attacks. Inflicts damage to the enemy, applies mark. Using this while invisible increases the damage, and also apply another mark. Can only be used while behind an enemy. This one is shadow cut. Immediately move behind an enemy and attack. Takes damage to an enemy and applies restraint. And also movement speed increases for 5 seconds. Consumes all mark of death. Duration of restraint is increased based on the number of marks consumed. Restraint is basically when you get snared and you can't turn around. You can attack as long as the person in front of you. Next is trip. Trips an enemy over and does damage. Next is execution time. For 13 seconds, haste is increased and mana recovery is faster. Additionally, attacks will not generate threat or aggro. Next is death notice. Give a death warning to an enemy. If the enemy dies within 4 seconds, cooldown of all skills will reset. However, cooldown of death notice is not reset. Smoke purify. Hide within smoke, becomes immune to all damage for 3 seconds after activation. Assassin and allies inside the smoke have their evasion increased. Additionally, removes all negative effects applied to assassin. Cannot be used while invisible. Next is Shadow Vortex. Summons a Shadow Vortex under the enemy's feet, that lasts for 10 seconds. Enemies within the vortex will be pulled towards the sensor. Constant damage is received. Shadow Vortex is not affected by other skills that increase damage. And last one is Back Blow. Consumes all marks of death and stuns the enemy. Stun duration is increased by the number of marks consumed. Okay, so start with auto attack. There you go. Okay, let's go with sneak attack, which can be used from behind. Do it again. There's no cooldown, but it uses a lot of malice. Malice is your energy, you get levels when you attack. Okay, shadow cut. Teleports behind and restrains them. Next is trip. Oh, that'll do. And trip. Next is execution time. Because haste and generates more malice. Death notice. Let's quickly use that. smoke. Am I invisible? Okay, so it makes you invisible as well. Okay, so smoke is your second stealth, which you can use in PvP. It's gonna be pretty handy to have. Next is Shadow Vortex. Can you try moving? Just a little bit. Does it try pulling you or no? Next is Back Blow. It uses all marks and stuns them based on how many marks are used. Okay, let's go into passives. No, reaction skills. Okay, first reaction skill is Assassinate. Immediately moves behind an enemy and attacks, inflicts damage and applies a mark of death. Can then be used after a critical. Next is Quick Evades. Immediately stand up and moves back 8 meters. Can only be used when knocked down. And the last one is Kill. Inflicts damage to an enemy and applies a mark. Can only use against stunned enemies. Okay, now the passives. First one is Ronin. During the day, movement speed is increased by 5%. During the night, attack power is increased by 5%. That one's kind of a funny one. Next one is Ruthless. Damage is increased by 5% when attacking an enemy with HP below 30%. Next one is Deception. Using Pierce, Fatal Stab or Back Blow against enemy with 5 marks will increase movement speed by 30% for 5 seconds. Using Shadow Cut against an enemy with 5 marks will increase evasion by 30% for 5 seconds. Next one is Rear Attack. Damage increased by 5% when attacking enemies from behind. It's pretty handy for an assassin. Next one is Strategy. Reducing movement speed dependency while visible by 20%. So make sure movement speed 20% while negative 20% while stealth. When invisibility expires, attack power is increased by 10%. So you first hit our stealth is increased. Next one is Avenger. Hatred will also increase crit chance by 3%. Next one is Second Blade. Rupture, Double Cut and Shadow Strike has a set chance to apply additional mark. Next one is Resentment. Increase maximum malice by 20. Next one is Master Assassin. Land a critical attack will have a chance to reduce malice consumption by 25% for Strangle, Sneak Attack and Ambush. Next one is Executioner. Using Executioner time ensures the next attack will be a critical. However, the damage from constant effects would not be applied. So if you use this skill and your next hit is a critical, if that skill applies a poison, it will not poison. Next one is Executioner. Immediately after using Death Notice, cooldown of all other skills is reset. However, cooldown of Death Notice is increased by 60 seconds. Last time, what happens on the skill is you have to kill an enemy within 4 seconds to make your skills reset. That skill, well, that passive, makes it always reset your skills, no matter if you don't kill person or not. And last one is Cruelty. Damage is increased by 5% when attacking an enemy that has been poisoned, wounded or bled by the assassin. And Shift. All crowd control and bleeds and stuff like that is lifted, and you dash. While you're dashing, your damage received and crowd control stuns and everything like that received, you're immune to, so you won't get it. And you get, for 2 seconds, 30% movement speed, and damage is reduced by 20% for 2 seconds. Let's use this quickly. There you go. You can use it twice, based on how much energy you have. It uses 25 energy. And the stat bonuses are 40 dexterity, which is, if I go here, put mouse over here, it's attack power and dodge. And then next one is stamina 50, 20 technique, 40 evasion, 5% crit damage, 60 physical defense, and 50 magic defense. All these go up 5 levels and increase by the same amount per level. So that one will be 250, for instance. Anyways guys, that's all the skills. So hopefully you like this video. If you do, press the like button. If you dislike it, press dislike. I have Berserker and Archer left to do, and Mystic later on when they do the rework. So if you like this video, remember to subscribe. I do make about 2 to 3 videos a week on average. So I guess I'll see you guys in the next video. So peace out.